It's November 13th, Friday the 13th. So far it's been pretty good day. I'm out here at the old cemetery to deliver some flowers I just picked up to a grave that I take care of. It's the grave of Hannah Vandiver. I've shown that to you on a previous video, the grave, but I haven't been out in a while. So it's a nice day here. So this is a pretty big cemetery. I've got a friend that's and his father that are buried over that way. But this part here is the really old part of the cemetery. Although there's a few new graves over here, but those are people that are part of old Arlington families, and they were kind of, I guess, grandfathered in, allowed in. This grave here is my old journalism teacher from high school, Miss Forehand, and she taught me back in the 82-83 school year. So yeah, Phyllis Forehand. She passed away in 2013. So, but most of these graves here are very old, and the cemetery looks pretty cool in the fall with all the leaves. Collins, there's a street named after that family. You'll see in this cemetery names of schools and names of streets. There's another Collins, not Barnabas Collins, but the Collins family. 1894. This is an infant grave. Yeah. Sometimes babies wouldn't even live a few days back then. If you could survive infancy back in the 1800s, you'd probably live to a ripe old age. But there's a lot of history teachers that tell you back in the 1800s, people only lived. Here's Cooper. That's another major street here. They say people only lived to be like 40 back then. And that's nonsense. That's on average. And you know, these history teachers don't understand math, because so many babies died very young from childhood diseases. They threw off the average. People lived longer because they didn't have McDonald's and all the horrible food we have today. This person was born in 1820, died in 1908. Louise, that's the wife, father and mother. Let's see. Yeah. See, Sarah Hawkins. Born 1855, died 1900. Edgar Hawkins, 1878-1889. There used to be a lot of Confederate flags out here for people that died in the Civil War veterans, rather, but people don't do that anymore. This is a baby grave. You can tell it's a baby grave often because they have a little lamb. You see that on the top. 1889 to 1891. Huh. Okay, well, notice there's no graves here, and then there's these two graves in the back, and this one here, the first one here, is the one that I watch over and I adopted. few years back. I put some flowers out here. The last time I was here, I put these flowers here, but looks like the weather's kind of, let me reorient them. Well, the flowers have survived pretty well. Yeah, this is the grave of Hannah Vandiver. She died in 1901, born in 1882. She was just a very young lady that came on a train here to Arlington to be with her husband that she just married, and on the way she contracted smallpox, which is a big time horrible disease that everyone's forgotten about. Putting the flowers in that I just got, and so it was the first case of smallpox in Arlington, and people were horrified, and she passed away and lived a little short life, but I guess they put her grave in. Oh, that looks pretty good now. Let me get these white flowers back up some. Yeah, she's not family to me. I just adopted her. I have no idea. I don't want to hide her face. Maybe someday I'll meet her in the afterlife, but I just taking care of her grave. When I first found the grave, this tree had grown down kind of over it and obscured it, and there's some moss that's grown over the tombstone that makes it really kind of hard to read. It used to not be that way. I think they used to take care of the graves a little better. Somebody needs to come out here with a power washer and get that stuff off of there, or maybe it'll die at a certain time of the year. But anyway, the other grave back here, someone started putting flowers out for this person too. Maybe it's a relative. It just says Johnson. I can't read anything on it. But anyway, you can see that for a long ways there's no other grave. I think smallpox was such a horrible disease. People are so scared of it they didn't want to dig anywhere near the grave of someone that had had smallpox to bury someone else. They were, I guess, maybe superstitious or didn't quite know if they might unleash the smallpox germs or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing why there's all this land and no graves. Recording. Yeah. So I guess that looks pretty good there. Let me get them a little bit over. Be kind of a flower arranger. Well, Hannah, I've enjoyed taking care of your grave, and I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can. And if we wind up moving to another part of Texas, I'll still come by here every so often and see you and put flowers here. And if we move to another part of the country, I'll try to get a friend of mine that lives here to still come out here and bring a few flowers to you. But I don't want you to think you're forgotten and you lived a short life, but I'm sure you're doing great things now. If we come back, I don't know, and live other lives, or if you're in heaven. But Hannah Vandiver, just know that you're loved and your grave is being taken care of, and you're remembered. And I researched your life and wrote it down in a book, and what I could find out, and just know you're cared about. But it's around Thanksgiving time, and the weather's nice, and I'll come back around Christmas time and see you. So take care, Miss Vandiver. I'm gonna look around. There's a grave here. There's some other graves here that are kind of remarkable, but it's hard for me to find them. There's one grave where this little kid died right around the turn of the century, right around 1900, and it says, you know, something like I think it said, what does it say? Born, I think it says born 1901, died 1802, and it's like because they were so used to chiseling 1800s, and when it changed over to the 1900s, they started chiseling in the 18 for the death date, and realized, oh no, we have him dying 100 years before he was born. And I guess they didn't fix it because they'd already chiseled in the stone and didn't have any more. Is this the one? No. Narcissa, wife of I.M. Massey. You know, some of the names are I see names of people I went to like junior high and high school with, and they're probably their ancestors because, you know, they were old Arlington people, maybe. Let's see. Okay, here's another one of these infant graves. Born and died April 24th, 1899. Her baby is with the angels. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Born May 14th, 1880. Died November 10th, 1881. Somewhere around here was a gravestone made out of wood, and there's one from 1918. It could be from the Spanish flu. Hold These ones look real old-timey. Born March 5th, 1895, died July 20th, 1901. Precious child Edna. Sweet little Edna, Papa and Mama too loves you yet. Sad. Rachel Elizabeth, wife of S.B. Klasner, born 1826, died 1893. Age 91 years, 7 months, 8 days. We're a Mason. The Masonic thing there. So right over here are a bunch of people. These little people live over here, and they've got a wall here. I don't know. I guess if you're backed up to a cemetery, at least it's quiet, except when sad people come in the middle of the night to get drunk, maybe. Thomas Edward Trigg, 1853-1926. Curly Trigg. Man, I wish I could find, there's another Mason. I wish I could, 1835 to 1894. I wish I could find that grave of that kid whose tombstone was so badly botched. I know it's here. Oh boy. That's a beautiful tombstone there, that lamb. Another lamb. 1885 to 1940. Yeah, you can see in the distance that grave I take care of. It stands out with those flowers. You know, it's something you could do. You know, just some grave that's long forgotten. All of a sudden, there's flowers on it. Then the people, the caretakers of the cemetery, realize, oh, someone's watching this grave. Maybe we better take better care of it. Just psychologically, they get a little worried that someone might complain. So it doesn't take but a few dollars, like at Dollar Tree. I only spent just $3 at Dollar Tree to get those flowers, and I added them to what I had put there before. And usually they'll let them stay there for a few years. And if you do that with some grave in your community, or several, you can maybe help out, make sure the graves are taken care of. May 28, 1895. These are the classic old tombstones. Like, see, that's what I was talking about. See, this one is just made of wood, and yet it's been here for well over 100 years, just a piece of wood, and you wouldn't think it would last that long. There's no writing on it, or if there was, it's long since gone, but how does a wooden tombstone last that long? Unless it's like petrified wood or something. I always found that interesting. Okay, we've been over there. You know, the whole cemetery is fascinating. It's just, this is the oldest part. I think it was actually two cemeteries that kind of grew together. I'm not sure. Just fascinated with history, and I like people to be remembered. 1879 to 1909. His record is on high. And there are the pearly gates with a dove there flying. That's cool. I don't like the newer style tombstones. I like the older style. But that's just like me not liking the new comic books. I like the old ones. Maybe this isn't an old tombstone. What do I know? I just like that classic style. Oh, this is a cool one. Crabtree. Excellent. Okay, this one, G.C. Crabtree, born 1850, died 1900. An honest man, is the noblest work of God. This one's had repair done to it, so either they fall down from the elements or scum come in and knock them down. Here's Finger. The Finger family. Butler. Moses O. Bledsoe. 1837 to 1901. Yeah, I really liked that they used to have the little miniature Confederate flags by the graves of people that served, because then you knew who did. But now everyone's afraid to do that. Okay, over here is one Ditto, and there's that one that's kind of reddish. Ditto is the name of an elementary school around here. So there's a lot of Ditto family members here. So yeah, this is the Ditto plot. That's cool. Look at those sculpted hands. Mrs. Dealey, wife of J.P. Rose. 1848 to 1901. Arlington was a tiny town then. Tiny. James Ditto. Look at the hand pointing up. Another hand pointing up. Another little baby that only lived a year. There's that baby grave. Someone's put a little spinner there. 1894. It's like from the Collins family. Collins is one of the busiest streets in the town. All these people are a lot of Collins family. Zena Tatum. Ernest Lee Collins, Texas. Okay, December 26, 1940. Well, that was before World War II. But let's see. Monzingo as a Masonic symbol. Gray hues. Katie Birch. I think that star is an Eastern Star thing. That's like a wife of a Mason, I think. Thomas Monzingo. Monzingo, is that a Spanish name? What a name! That's an interesting name. I don't think I've ever heard it before. Sounds like something from a spaghetti western. Monzingo. Well, I love these. They're all through the cemetery. These tombstones that look like trees that have been cut down. They're people that cut down trees for a living. Woodmen of the world. They always make their memorials look like trees. These are kind of, I always think these are kind of creepy. These ones where it looks like a air raid bunker. It's like at least you know where the body actually is. You don't feel like you're walking on someone's grave. This one's had some damage done to it. Johnny Weems. These are very old trees. I don't know how old, but pretty old. There's the Davis family, and of course there's a Davis Street, and the elementary school I went to in 6th grade is named after the Davis families. South Davis Elementary. people that founded this town are remembered by street names, and I don't know. There's a little museum called the Fielder Museum. It's kind of down the street. Other than that, I doubt many people know much about Arlington history. And Arlington's kind of becoming kind of horrible. I don't know. They're fixing up the downtown. I shouldn't knock it too much. Love to be somewhere else, though. My father and mother and my oldest brother are buried over on the outskirts of Dallas at a veterans cemetery. My father was a veteran of the Korean and Vietnam War, and my oldest brother was served in the Army and later with the Homeland Security, and so they're buried over there, and that's a beautiful cemetery. Oh, here we go. This is he was a Corporal Thomas B. Collins, 5th Texas Cavalry, CSA, Confederate States of America. So they have the American flag, but obviously we respect the service of both sides, because they're all Americans. It's just really a bad internal squabble that happened in our history. But we need to remember these things and not tear down statues, in my humble opinion. But I'm supposed to be related to Robert E. Lee somehow. Not exactly sure how. I just always heard I had an ancestor named Lily Lee, and they would march her around in parades, and it's like, oh, she's related to Robert E. Lee. But then he had I don't know. My father tried. It's on my mom's side that I'm supposed to be related to Robert E. Lee. My father tried to do the research to establish that for sure back in the 1970s, and back then, before the internet, if a church or two burned down, then you kind of lose the chain. But now I think with the internet, I could probably pretty firmly establish if I am related to Robert E. Lee or not. But it sounds good if I ever moved to Virginia, you know. Maybe I'd get some respect from people for a change. Always been looked down on, Grottu, Orloff. Orloff is a real family name on my father's side. It's a Russian, German, kind of, I don't know, name. Grottu I just stole from Stan Lee. There's a giant ant in those old Stan Lee, Jack Kirby monster comics from the 50s. So I thought, I want to name myself after one of those cool Stan Lee monsters, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko monsters. And so Grottu, I've been since the MySpace days because I didn't want to use my real name on there. Oh well. Marvel Comics ever gets upset at me for using the Grottu name, I'll just keep Dr. Orloff. And because Orloff, I kind of would like to just change my name to Orloff. That would be cool, but I think it would be too much trouble. But it's such a cool name. It sounds like Karloff. Well, this just looks like a piece of wood. Oh, this is where they get the water. So they just put the wood there so no one knocks that pipe over. Well, here's some more of those graves that look like they're really trying to make sure they keep them down. Looks like a tornado shelter. And I got a few more over here. I guess this particular family liked it that way. The Elliott family. And the Spruance family. God, I gotta come out and clean these tombstones a little better. Well, with that adventure, I didn't go back to this back part of the cemetery. Is there anything to see back here? It's weird. This is a part that has the newer graves, I think. And these must be people. Yeah, there's a new Davis. Or at least it looks new. I think the old time families of Arlington still will sometimes bury in this historic part of the cemetery, but well, yeah, this person passed away about 14 years ago. And about 5 years ago, another Davis family member. And then back here are some really interesting looking, I remember there was something back here. 1934. Kenneth. It's really hard to tell what that tombstone was. This is a cool one that's made like a heart. I'm stepping in brand new dirt. Oh my gosh, this person was just buried May of 2020. So the ground hasn't settled and grass hasn't grown over it. And so James Thomas Stone. So he was born. So Linda Gale, November 9th, 19. Oh, I see. He was born in 45 and died in 2020, and Linda is still alive. So it says 1948. So when she passes away, she'll be buried here, and they'll add the death date to that tombstone. So I get it. So this is all brand new. I wasn't here. I don't think the last time I visited. This one back here with the tile is kind of interesting. But I don't know if there's any information on it. And there's always chances there are graves around that have kind of just disintegrated and you just don't even know that they're there. There used to be, let's see, Guadalupe S. Mendez, 1932. Oh, he was very young, 1921 to 1932. There was a grave over here that people used to just decorate with all these toys and all that. It was just like there was always a party at that, I think it was the grave of a child. And I guess people haven't been doing that lately. Here's more Davis family members. Mary Bell. Where was that? I guess they don't come out and decorate it anymore during the pandemic. But this is another visit to see Miss Vandiver. Bring her some more flowers, and I'll be back out here sometime around Christmas. Take care, everybody.